Can you even imagine the gaming world without PlayStation in it? Well, before this console, that was the world we lived in. Welcome to Retro Unboxing, and today we have here for you the original PlayStation 1. That pre-PS1 world I'm talking about was the late 80s and early 90s, dominated by the battle between Sega and Nintendo. Sega launched the Mega CD add-on to the Mega Drive, and Nintendo teamed up with Sony to create the Nintendo PlayStation. That's right, the Nintendo PlayStation. The partnership didn't work out, but the PlayStation was born. More on that story at the end of the video. For now, let's look at the first home console to sell over 100 million units. The PS1 was first released in Japan in December 94, in North America in September 95, and here in Australia in November 95. Before this release, I'd only ever owned Nintendo consoles, but let me tell you, the hype for this machine was huge, and I jumped on board picking up one of these PAL releases in December 95. Didn't come bundled with a game, but as you can see, it came free with a demo disc to kick off, and that kept me busy until I got a chance to pick one up. On the right hand side here, you can see the contents of the box. You've got your PS1 console, your controller, your AV leads, and of course your power cord. Then over here on the left side of the box, got a list of optional accessories you could buy. Joystick, mouse, RFU adapter, which I needed as I didn't have a TV that took AV leads at the time. And of course you've got your memory card, as the system didn't have any internal memory. I've also got one of them we can unbox here today. Now, compared to 3D graphics I'd seen before the PS1, it was seriously leagues ahead of the competition. Using CD when previous top-selling consoles have been using cartridges, it made it seem like the modern console. Actually, it seemed like the console of the future, to be honest. Sega had actually also launched a CD-based console about a week earlier called the Saturn, which we'll have on the channel one day, but Sony honestly left that in the dust, selling about 2 million PS1 units in its first 6 months. You can see some of the console highlights here on the back of the box. Custom multiple processors for superior 3D graphics, 25 frames per second frame rate, 16.8 million simultaneous colours, 360,000 on-screen polygons per second in real time, not to mention the games, some of which you can see here, including Tekken 2, which was massive in the arcades at the time, so that was brilliant to have at home on a home console. Crash Bandicoot here, there's FIFA 97, you can see Ridge Racer, Tomb Raider. I could list so many classic games for the PlayStation, but for now, let's open up the box and see what's inside. First off, we've got your AV leads. And we've got an RF unit. That must have been purchased as an optional extra. And of course we've got your power cord. And inside we've got the first PlayStation analog control. Although it has the basic shape and button layout we know today, circle, square, triangle, X, start, select, dual left and right buttons, it is missing the thumb joystick. Rumour has it Sony saw the Nintendo 64 controller with the thumb joystick when it came out and redesigned their controller. If that's true, I don't know, but in '97 they released the dual analog controller and then followed up with the dual shock, and then this original controller was phased out. It's also a bit thinner on the side than today's PS controller, but that was the first PlayStation controller. Then inside here we've got your PlayStation guarantee. Have a flick through that. There's the English text. Then we've got your PlayStation instruction manual. I'll have a quick flick through that. Basically it runs through how to set up and operate your PlayStation, troubleshooting, how to use a memory card, how to play an audio CD, and that was another great feature at the time. I mean, all music was on CD back then, so it was a console and a CD player really. Okay, we'll fold this back and have a look at the machine itself. The original PlayStation 1 that started it all. To be honest, I think it still looks pretty slick, almost timeless in design. On the front here you got your two controller ports and your memory card slots. On the back you've got your power plug, you've got your AV out to connect it to your TV, you've got your serial I/O port to link with other PlayStations if you happen to have two PlayStations along with two TVs and two copies of the same multiplayer game, which I never did. Then you got your parallel I/O port, which was for PlayStation add-ons, but no official add-ons were ever released, so aside for some cheat devices, it was never used. On the bottom you have your model and serial number, and then on the top you've got your power on off button, you've got your reset button, and you've got your button to open and close the disc lid so you can insert your games. Before we go ahead and insert a game, I'll unbox the last little piece we need, which is the memory card. Inside here we've got some instructions. This one's in Japanese, and we've got a little case to house the memory card itself. The card saved about 1 megabyte worth of game files, and you couldn't actually save games without it. So to be honest, for me at the time that was rather annoying, as the consoles I'd grown up with had internal memory. But that said, the fact you could take a memory card to a friend's place and load a save game on their machine was pretty cool. Anyhow, enough talk. Let's set up the PlayStation and give it a run. One of my all-time favourite game franchises released for the PS1 was Knockout Kings. I've been playing that a little bit lately, so today I'm going to test drive the machine with Knockout Kings 99. It's hard to rattle off a best PS1 titles list without taking too much time, but names like Gran Turismo, Final Fantasy and Crash Bandicoot come to mind. There was Driver, Metal Gear Solid, Tony Hawk, Medal of Honor, Grand Theft Auto, FIFA on PlayStation, John Madden, NBA Live, so many games. This really was a game-changing console, and these days it's hard to imagine the gaming world without a PlayStation. But as I mentioned at the start of the video, the whole idea of the Sony PlayStation was actually born out of the Sega vs Nintendo console war. Sega was developing the Mega CD, which was an add-on for the Mega Drive, and Nintendo wanted to do something similar, so they teamed up with Sony in 1988. The story goes that together they developed the PlayStation as an add-on CD-ROM for the Super NES, with Sony retaining major control over any CD-ROM games that came out for the PlayStation. The deal and the Nintendo PlayStation itself was supposed to be announced in 1991, but prior to going public, the guys at Nintendo, they decided they weren't really happy with the deal or with Sony having so much control over the game releases, so at the last minute they backflipped on the whole thing and they actually partnered with Philips instead to create a CD-ROM add-on with them. Now the new deal Nintendo had with Philips would give Nintendo more control of the rights and the revenue from the games, but the whole thing came to nothing. They never released anything. Meanwhile, Sony went to Sega and they discussed releasing a console with them, but the Sega board of directors voted against it. It kind of sounds crazy now, but at the time Sony had no skin in the console game, so you can see where they were coming from. So Sony and Nintendo found themselves in court for a while, and in the meantime Sony redeveloped their console, and in 1994 the PlayStation 1 hit the market and gaming was never the same again.
everybody. This is Al Albert and my partner, Sean O'Grady. Glad you could join us tonight for what is sure to be a great battle. Sean, I think we should take a look at the keys to victory and the tale of the tape.
Muhammad Ali has tremendous foot speed. He can get out of trouble quickly. Evander Holyfield tends to chase fighters who run from him.
An uppercut by Holyfield.
Great hook.
If you enjoyed this video, if you enjoy retro game consoles, you enjoy retro tech, retro phones, retro toys, feel free to subscribe to the channel. Even more, if there's something particular you'd like us to unbox, drop it in the comments and we'll try and hunt it down for you and do an unboxing and review. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Have a good day.